Well, hello there, you two. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. John keeps telling me about how much better the internet is up there where he's at than where I'm at, so I'm trying to test it out for myself, and I'm currently shipping myself in a box to John. It appears he's out to go to the bathroom, but I figured that since I'm kind of secluded and by myself, and we kind of started with it last week, we would make today's topic mysteries of the deep, um, stories and different mysteries of things that have happened in the ocean that maybe we can't quite explain. Um, One thing that I really wanted to talk about was back a few years ago.
What are we talking about, Nessie? Ah. All right. So I'm sorry if Austin was boring anybody, but what were you talking about, Austin? Keep going. Keep going. I'm listening.
Was it the Atlantic Ocean? They couldn't quite pinpoint where it was, but there were three independent countries that were recording audio from the sea, and I don't know. Though apparently that's something they constantly do. And there was this interesting noise they heard. They only ever described it as the bloop, and it was such a low frequency that you couldn't actually hear it with the human ear, but the audio equipment was able to pick it up, and it was really odd, and it was really drug out and really long. They had to speed up the audio and then bring it into a higher octave just so we could hear it. And it's just this low pitch. And they
Uh,
never recorded it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I just want to say our audio issues are corrected. We're fixed. We sound good now. No more echoing. Thank you. Thank you, Kaz, for letting us know. And yes, my leprechaun was awful, but that's just what it is. I wasn't trying to look like a leprechaun. I was just wanted to poke my head out with a green hat just so I could say Nessie. So, so on with what you're saying, this bloop thing. I haven't heard about the bloop ordeal. However, I have heard about the, it's going to sound funny, the Julia that was recorded in the ocean. If you don't believe me, I'm telling you, Google it. Uh, I was looking up some stuff before, like doing some research, and I actually found the recording where it actually sounds like it says Julia. Like, it's weird. I wish I had it, and I didn't grab it, but what do you think, Julie?
I think it's pretty cool.
I mean, how many
They're
people...
yelling my name over the ocean waves. That's awesome.
Right? How many people can say, yeah, they recorded my name being spoken in the water?
Yeah.
And it was recorded, apparently, it happened down by the Antarctic, and it was recorded up in the Central Pacific Ocean, where they heard it.
Have they recorded it more than once?
It was only recorded once in 1999.
She rocked their world.
Crazy. I wonder if it's a similar thing to what was making the bloop.
That's what I'm saying. When was that audio actually recorded?
I need to do more research before I come onto this show instead of just remembering facts.
Well, you got to come preloaded, brother. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man. But I, on the other hand, was looking at a whole bunch of crazy stuff prior to this show starting tonight. And I found some really cool stuff, like the convergence of the Baltic and North Seas. Have you ever seen what that looks like? It's like milky water meeting dark water, and there's a perfect barrier between them. There's a little bit of, like, it looks almost like a salt bar right on the top of where they meet, but then it's a dead split. Like, you can tell it's two separate bodies of water.
Oh, so you know how last week you were talking about how they had found freshwater lakes under the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
They've also found places near sulfuric vents that are saltier than the rest of the ocean by a considerable margin. Any fish that swims in there just dies. It can't handle it.
Oh, I'm 100% sure of that. There's also in the polar regions parts where the water is so compressed, the water that comes out from between the ice has so much salt in it, As it seeps back down, it'll drop all the way to the bottom of the ocean, and it will start to freeze, and it will call. It creates what's called a binaural. It's not a barnacle. It's like it's a strange name. I'd have to see if I can find it, but it's like it looks like a salt tornado that is completely solid. I thought that was cool as hell, man.
That's super cool.
Right?
Um, yeah, but that's not.
Go ahead,
What
Julie.
was that?
And then you have the Dead Sea, that's the saltiest sea there is, and nothing can live in there. But it's supposed to have healthy components in it, minerals.
All right, so we don't know if nothing can live in it. From what we can see, nothing can live in it. We don't know what's at the bottom of that sea all the way through. We don't. 5% of our oceans is all that's known. 5%. We can map the top of it all day and night, but when it comes to what lays below it, 5% is all we know. 95% of our oceans are still untapped, unknown. We know more about space, and I said this last week, we know more about space than what we have right next to us. However, going down to depths of the lowest recorded depth that we have been to is 6 miles deep. And believe it or not, James Cameron was the one who did that. Yes, the director of Titanic went 6 miles down to take a look at the Marianas Trench. Found some pretty cool stuff, took some samples while they were down there with their machinery. That's it. We can't go much further than that. The immense pressure above us pretty much crush anything we have now. We have to make such huge strides in technology to be able to get down there, and some of the things we could find could completely change our thought processes on what lies in the bottom of the ocean. Like, you know, what kind of animals are there, what you know, there's just tons of different things, man. You know, I'm excited to see it. I want to see what's going on with it. You know, I think it'd be neat.
Yeah, and then some of the fish that live down there can't even survive whenever you pull it up below a certain depth. Like there's this fish that's like a globe over its head, and its eyes are inside that globe, and they point upwards. It's kind of weird. It looks really odd. The inside of its head is illuminated, and you can see inside the globe. It's like it's clear, but any fisherman who pulls it up, like the globe explodes.
Yeah,
So they never really knew what it was until they finally managed to take footage of it down below because it doesn't look right because its head explodes when it loses pressure.
yeah. I mean, there's so much outward force of its head to keep it from literally collapsing that once you bring it up so far and you take that pressure away, his head just expands to the point where it goes pops like a zit.
And then you have like fish like the oarfish that are like what hundreds of feet long, and they stand up vertically, and that yeah, those things are ridiculous. They look really weird. And then what? It was only 5 years ago or something like that we discovered the giant squid, and then not long after that, the colossal squid.
Yeah, well, the colossal squid is, dude, that could feed a family of 10 Chinese people, or you know, 3 Japanese people. I'm just saying, I'm not racist. It's just a lot of sushi.
Yeah.
Or one me. I'm just saying.
The giant squid is actually longer than the colossal squid.
But it's the
Fun
size
fact.
of the body
Yeah,
that changes it. But
yeah.
it's like the
colossal squid.
anglerfish. The anglerfish is such an ugly fish. And like its body shape, and it's got the little thing that sits out over like this, and it has a little luminescent, bioluminescent light there, and it attracts fish to it when they get close to it. They suck them up.
And Finding Nemo.
But it's only the size of a tennis ball.
I don't even know if it's that big.
Yeah. And for a while, they didn't think there were males of that species because they never seen any. Only saw was the females, and they noticed these weird things attached to the side. And turns out those little things attached to the side were the males, and they start off, and then they're like attached to it, and it's like parasitic, and then eventually it like kind of pretty much fuses into the female.
Huh. See, now that's neat. See, that's something I didn't know.
I know a lot of interesting, useless shit. Like, did you know that squids can become retarded real easy? Because their brains are shaped like donuts, and it wraps around their esophagus. And if they eat a fish that's too big, it just gives them brain damage.
Wait, it gives who brain damage for what?
A squid, his brain is shaped like a donut and it wraps around his esophagus.
Mm-hmm.
If he eats something too big, he's retarded.
Is that what
happened to Jimmy? Tried to eat a fucking whale.
Is that what happened to you?
No, I stuck my finger in a light socket.
Well, it kind of looks like you have a big ass head right now. It's kind of funny because the way the shadow behind you is, it looks like you have this huge afro. You see it, right, Julie?
Yeah.
It looks like he's got an afro.
Dog breed. So there's 440 different species of sharks. And as much as I love sharks, it's really sad to say I could probably only name one, if I was lucky, out of 440.
I'll tell you what, there are still breeds of shark we don't even know exist.
Yeah.
I mean, 440.
Shark Week.
Oh yeah.
Every year.
I watched some of that too. I thought it was kind of neat how it just, kept going.
Hammerhead's my favorite.
Why does everyone like the hammerhead? Well, Sheldon likes it too. He's a shark and a tool. I'm just saying.
You can't keep them in captivity. The only one that can be kept in captivity is the cousin of the hammerhead. It looks like him, but it's a smaller version. Never heard of the goblin shark.
The goblin shark is ugly as shit. It's got these big ass eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a shark.
Oh yeah, he's got the goblin shark's interesting because it's got this jaw underneath his head, and instead of just opening his mouth and swimming in, he like swims up behind the spray and his mouth like juts out and then grabs it, pulls it in.
Mm-hmm. It shoots out, grabs the fish, and pulls him back. It's nuts.
What's that? A wobble gong sand shark?
Did you say a wobble long sand shark?
Wobbegong.
Spell it.
Wobbegong.
Wobbegong.
Is that 10 times?
Wobbegong, 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 wobbegong. Wobbegong sand shark. Oh, we make a tuna.
Yeah.
I'm being extremely racist tonight, aren't I? I've come out like an Irish guy. I'm doing Chinese and Japanese somewhat accents. Listen, if I see any Chinese or Japanese people on the street trying to fight me, I already know why. It's because of my horrible accent.
And just so you know ahead of time, you can whoop his ass, whether you know karate or not.
You can?
Oh, yeah. I've seen you fight. It looks like this.
You've never seen me fight. I don't fight.
Yeah, that's because when you do, you look like this. You go full retard T-Rex.
Oh, full retard T-Rex. Jesus Christ. Now that's racist. You're talking about retards and T-Rexes.
It's not racist. It's species, sis.
It's PC, sis. What?
It's genocidal. They did. Nobody cares if you talk shit about T-Rexes. And they're trying to
little arms.
little arms.
That's right. Man, that's funny. So what else you got, Austin? You wanted to talk about the mysteries of the ocean today. What else you got, bub?
Yeah, man. What about all those ships that disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle?
It's all right. So the whole thing with the Bermuda Triangle is, and this has been proven, that there are magnetic anomalies that will happen. That you may be facing north, but it will tell you south or east, and you'll reroute to try to head north. And as you're moving,
what causes that?
Huh?
I know this. What causes that?
Magnetic interference.
What? Yeah. Okay. Cool, man. Okay. What causes the magnetic interference?
Radiation.
Earth.
Aliens.
Oh. Aliens.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's like everybody knows about the Bermuda Triangle, but not very many people, or I feel like not very many people know about the it's called the Devil's Sea, or also the Dragon's Triangle. It's on the other side of the earth. It's in off the coast of Japan. Same thing, only it's like twice as big, and it's eating way more ships and planes.
Well,
And it's crazy. It's on the same line of latitude and everything. It's like I don't know if it has something to do with that point on the Earth, like because like you can draw a straight line through the Earth to connect the 2 points, and I don't know, maybe it's just like there's something in there somewhere.
I'm actually looking at it now. It's goes from Japan down to the island off of China. I can't think of the name of it. Then it kicks back out to the end of the one of the island chains, and it comes back up to. Wow, that was really informative. I gave you guys perfect information there. It goes from here to this place here and back to here.
It's like I can visualize it in my head. I feel like I'm playing D&D with a crackhead.
Donuts and dicks.
With Austin, is he really in a dog crate, or is he in a? Did he build himself a fort? Like, really, what is with this whole boxed-in area?
Government conspiracies and the aliens can't probe my brain like this.
Nice. Wasn't it in the Devil's Sea where they found the it's like a whirlpool, like a constant whirlpool that will pull things right into it, and they disappear, and you never see them again. You have no idea where it's going. Did you know about that?
I did not know about that.
Oh, yes.
Well, it can't be. See, that can't be confirmed because the expedition they sent out to go find that is also missing.
They got sucked into it, man. That's what happened. But no, I mean, it's. Let's see.
I mean, that can't be the only phenomenon happening there, though. Because, I mean, just the whirlpool, which, I mean, nobody knows where it goes. I mean, that goes back into we haven't explored the depths of our seas yet. And that might have something to do with that. And, I mean, not everything that goes in there goes missing. So, I mean, surely somebody could do it. But the whirlpool doesn't explain the missing of the airplanes.
No, that's true. And, since we started recording things that are happening over the... Excuse me, hold on, let me start again. I'm all sorts of stupid today. I apologize, people. Ever since we started recording events happening at sea, there have been more than 700 deaths that have happened in the Devil's Sea.
Since they've been recording, so I'm sure there could have been more before.
Many more. There was a crew that went out to kind of explore the area to kind of figure out what was going on out there in the 1950s. And in 1952, when they returned, they asked what happened to the ships because the ships were wrecked. Tons of them were wrecked. Not completely destroyed, just wrecked. And he said it was an underwater... I'm sorry. It just says Charles. It doesn't tell me his full name, just Charles. Charles Berlitz stated that it was an underwater volcano that had done it. Well, a few years ago, the Japanese found some of these ships, pulled them up, and they were like, this wasn't a volcano. Because there was no evidence of scorching or burning or anything in that sort that happened to these ships. So it's still completely unknown as to what happened to those ships.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of places in the ocean where there's just vents that open up that spew different things like sulfur and such. It's possible that there's just a vent that was spewing something that hit it, and then, I mean, I would describe that as a volcano.
Yeah, but the thing is, a vent would happen very far down. You would have to be far enough down to be at the bottom of Earth's crust, so when the vent opens up, you're basically getting gases off of molten rock. That's what causes the vent.
Or it could happen at continental plates.
Yes, that's generally where venting is going to be located, is on the edge of continental plates, or any tectonic plate.
Well, it doesn't have to be deep in the ocean to be on the edge of a tectonic plate.
Deep enough that it wouldn't affect anything on top. You'd actually have to be down in the water quite a bit for any sort of venting to affect you.
Question. What the hell is a tectonic plate?
A tectonic plate? You're sitting on one.
My ass.
Well, that could be a tectonic plate, but it's a little bit of a small one. Now, tectonic plates are the plates that all of our continents are on. the plates that move that cause earthquakes. It's the crust of the Earth is the tectonic plate.
Okay.
So each one of them that moves individually from the other, that would be considered one tectonic plate.
Now, I know I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's viewers out here that had no clue. I'm very thankful that I asked what it was.
Kaz says he wants to cast magic missile. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's too much weird shit in the water.
Yeah,
too much.
You know, some people believe that Amelia Earhart, when her plane went down and went missing, or when her plane went missing because we don't know it went down, it could have got abducted by Aryans.
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
by what?
Aryans.
Wait a minute. So is this the hillbilly version of it? Aryans.
You forgot your banjo.
I don't have one of them.
Yeah.
Hey man, it was Aryans.
A lot of people think Amelia Earhart was flying over the Bermuda Triangle whenever she went missing.
So where do you think it went down? If it went down?
Me? I really couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe she stopped at one of them little islands along the way and got easted by the locals.
It's very well possible. I mean, but I seriously doubt it. Didn't they find her plane in, like, Vietnam or China or something like that?
I don't think they found her plane. I think they found her plane and haven't been able to confirm it.
Because she would have been one of the first people, listen up, flat earthers, to circumnavigate the Earth. Just like that. Just like that.
Not like this.
Not this
like
way.
this,
like this.
She circumnavigated the plate, bruh.
Yeah. She was constantly a left tilt.
If she would have flown straight towards the Antarctic and kept going, she would have found.
She would have found what?
So, that's the question, isn't it? We can't answer that because the government keeping it hidden from us, so we don't know things.
Yeah, listen, we're not even going to get into that again. I refuse, even though I do have a statement, I'm just going to let it go. That's just nuts. That's nuts. Why? Why do we even care is the question.
Yeah, but I think it's like, I don't know, it's crazy the amount of species we're still discovering under the ocean. Can you imagine if we found something bigger than a blue fucking whale?
They already state that there are bigger items underneath the water than the blue whale. However...
But that's the biggest thing that's bigger than a brontosaurus. I don't know if you know how big a brontosaurus was.
I know how big the blue whales were. I was actually reading that earlier today. Thank you, sir. However, with as little as we know about the ocean, I can almost guarantee you there's bigger items in the water than the blue whale. The blue whale's massive, but there's got to be something else. There gots to be.
They look different and clear. It seems like the deeper you get, the color, the abstract changes significantly. It becomes more like gel.
What does? What are you talking about?
Fish.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like,
they lose the color.
Yeah, but that just comes from absence of light. Because if you look at species that live their whole life just in caves and things, like there's there are cave systems that have water in them, and there's fish species and different things that live in that water that cannot get out of the cave, like different species of crayfish and fish that are just clear. So that's not just an ocean thing, that's just an absence of light thing.
But when it gets down deep,
Kaz made a
common.
Kaz made a good point. Once you get that deep in the ocean, the air, the sun, no longer affects the ecosystem of the ocean. It's a standalone, all on its own, completely separate from atmospheric Earth.
Shit, I go to my knees and that's about it. Love the ocean. Love it. Fascinated by it. And I only go up to my knees. Now, if I was in like clear water where I could see, then I probably go a little bit deeper. That's about it.
I don't know why, but it just sounds dirty what she's saying. I only go to my knees. If it was clear water, I'll go a little deeper. I'd get all up in that.
Just get your mind out of the gutter.
What can I say? It's all y'all's fault, man. We do this show to entertain you. Remember that, people. Well, entertain Kaz because he's watching.
Thank you.
But, yeah. So, any thoughts? Real quick. I have this crazy idea. I think we should try to link shows together. Because last week we did Aliens and Flat Earth, and we had a little conversation about ocean. And now this week we were kind of just all talking about ocean, so it's a little weird. So next week, Austin already said, hey, how about we talk about this? And what did you say it was again, Austin?
Oh, I want to talk about the superpowers that you want. Only more specifically, I want Julie and John to talk about the superpowers they want so I can shit on them scientifically as to how they're shit.
I don't know. I think mine would be good. I already got one in my head for this, by the way. And this is going to give Julie a little bit of time to kind of bring it together so she can figure out exactly which one she would accept and why it would be good regardless of what you would say to her.
Yep, and then I would pick it apart scientifically.
See, this can go in a whole different direction. Talk about being in the gutter. Oh, yeah. It can go there quick.
Look, we're not talking about being... We're actually talking about standard stuff at this point. Your mind's still in the gutter.
Yeah.
Oh.
It happens.
I've tried to think about what superpower I'd want, and fuck that. No.
He wants
the drawback
He
stuff.
wants the power of selectable elephantitis. That's gross. That's go elephant dick.
Elephant balls.
Only thing you can do with that is stop traffic.
Just laying out there in the road. Poof. Speed bump. That's gross, bro. Well. Alrighty, people. It's that time. So I'm going to say what Austin said once before. If you have any comments or, any ideas for topics we should talk about, leave them down below. Also, comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll have a little bit of fun with this. At some point, we'd like to get some of you guys to come on the show and hang out with us. But leave us some comments first, and we'll start going from there.
Oh, shit! Get your towels ready, it's about to go down! Everybody in the place hit the fucking deck!